Today's top 5 is my favorite G.I. Joe toys. Now, here are the rules for this top 5. Characters only, no vehicles. Vehicles do not count. That will be a separate video down the road sometime. And it's a special top 5 because it's a top 10. Basically, I took my top 5 Joes, my top 5 Cobras, and put them together to make a top 10 list. So here they are.
Everybody loves a top 10 video. Hey you know you love it too. Here's our top 10 video.
10.
Quick Kick. He's a master of martial arts. Now, what I like about Quick Kick is he is one of, if not the only G.I. Joe character who does not wear shoes. And I remember that being very unique at the time and even still today, because again, I don't think any other character, G.I. Joe character, is barefoot. Some of the accessories he came with a pair of nunchucks, as you can see here. Turn him around, he had a backpack. Sword came in, slid out right here. This character was very, very Bruce Lee. I remember thinking he reminded me of Bruce Lee at the time. Still kind of does, and huge Bruce Lee fan. I mean, who's not? So, Quick Kick.
9.
Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is a ninja, and there's actually different variations of Snake Eyes, but the one specifically that I want to talk about here is the 85-86 version. I like this version the best. He's completely blacked out. The original version, is kind of skinny, not a lot of meat on him. You know, the 89 version here, I thought, you put a little bit of silver on him, color contrast, that's fine. Not really my thing. I like this version of Snake Eyes. Like I said, he's completely blacked out. He's got some grenades up here on his chest. He's got the black visor, and basically he just looks like a badass. I mean, I don't really know of any other way to say it. He just looks like a badass. And this version actually came with Timber, which was his pet wolf.
8.
Tomax and Zaymont. These guys, I remember they came packaged as a 2-pack, and they actually came mirrored. If you can't tell, these guys are pretty much a mirror image of each other. Notice the collar over here on this side and the collar over here on that side. The sashes are going, different directions like this. But what I like about these characters, these guys were the Crimson Guard commanders. Crimson Guards were kind of special forces on the Cobra side. But I like the color scheme first and foremost. The red, blue, and the silver, I think, really blends well together. Something else I really like, if you take a look at the boots, the boot is basically a cobra leading all the way up to the thighs right here. You can see the head of the cobra. These guys also came packaged with guns and zip line and a hook, or zip line with a hook. And one of the characters actually has a scar on his face. I don't know if you can see that too well, but that was unique about this character at the time. He had a scar.
7.
Destro. Destro was number 2 in command, at least by cartoon standards. Leader of the Mars, his specialty was weapons. So he basically supplied the entire Cobra force with weapons. Right off the bat, you can see the cool thing about this character, just like on the show, in the movies, or whatever, he has a silver head. And that is the most unique thing about this character. And it's probably what I like best about this character, is the silver mask is on there. Pretty accurate to the cartoon. Other than that, nothing super special about Destro. The silver head, though, as a kid, that just did it for me.
6.
Hooded Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander was the leader of the Cobra forces. He ruled with an iron fist. He demanded respect and demanded people listen to his every order, actually. Now, there's several different versions of Cobra Commander. There's obviously the one with the silver faceplate. My favorite was this one, and it's actually, the clothes are the exact same as the one with the silver faceplate, just painted different. They're actually a darker blue. I prefer the darker blue over the light blue. The stripe here on the side, as you can see, is a goldish color. On the silver faceplate Cobra Commander, it's actually red. It's got a gun. So much detail on these G.I. Joe figures. A gun here on the side, or knife, It's got a knife here on the side. So much detail on these G.I. Joe figures. But the hood is what I especially like about this character. I think it adds, I don't know, just a little bit more mystique to Cobra Commander. I think the only thing that would have been better about this figure here is if the hood actually was removable, but it was not.
5.
Wetsuit. Now, Wetsuit is a Navy SEAL. But let's get right into the character, not so much about the background. As you can see, he has a wetsuit on, he has his diving mask on, but this is really neat. The accessories that came with this character, he has a, I don't know what this would be called, but basically it propelled him through the water. He just had to hang on to that, and he would go. He had a searchlight. Could even wrap that around his wrist there so he didn't lose it while he was diving. This was really neat too. He actually came with flippers. These are removable flippers. It's very unique character at the time. He comes with a backpack also that has air hoses that go into his mask so he can breathe.
4.
Barbecue. Barbecue is a fireman, plain and simple. As you can see, he has his fire suit on. It's more than likely fire retardant, otherwise, well, he's not a very good fireman, is he? But the cool thing about Barbecue here, he actually came with an axe so he can knock down doors and rescue folks. And this is neat too. He had his backpack here, which, you know what? Being a fireman, I'd assume it shot water or some kind of fire extinguishing powder or something like that. Actually had a hose coming around to the nozzle so he can put fires out. Or maybe I'm wrong and this shot flames, but why would a fireman shoot flames?
Fire with fire.
Fire with fire. There you go. Stupid.
3.
Zartan. Zartan was master of disguise and deception. That was kind of his specialty, is he disguised. Now, if you can see here, even the toy depicted that, because this face is obviously not Zartan. Check this out. Boom, it comes right off, and that's the Zartan we all know and love. Now, what's cool about this face is it has its own little carrying case. Kind of like Face Off. Oops, wait, hang on. Wait a minute, I get it. Hang on, I get it. It's like Face Off, like John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. He just puts on someone else's face. That's really neat. Something else that was very unique about this character was the chest plate here actually comes off. I don't know if I want to mess with it. Okay, and it's sexy. It is kind of sexy, shirtless, right? He actually, along with, what were the brother and sister? His brother and sister. Zarana and,
The redheaded one?
yeah.
I don't remember her name.
Xander and Zarana, maybe. Anyways, this character was actually made out of special plastic, and in the sunlight, the body actually turned like a very dark blue, purplish, kind of looked like a bruise. Jordan, if you can find a picture of that, throw it up, because it's overcast and just not a lot of sun right now. And he came with a vehicle. He came with a swamp skier called the Chameleon.
2.
Serpentor. Serpentor eventually became the leader of the Cobra forces. He took that job over from Cobra Commander, and he was actually, he's made in a lab. He's a test tube baby. Dr. Mindbender took DNA from past great leaders, or I guess rulers, Napoleon Bonaparte and Attila the Hun, etc., and fused them all together, and you came up with Serpentor. He's kind of he's a two-parter here, so we're going to get into his vehicle first, which is a chariot. This thing actually, well, in the cartoon at least, it flew. If you can see, the front is shaped like a cobra, and right here is the cobra head. That actually removes, but for aesthetic's sake, you got a cobra. It's cool because the handlebars actually move, so he can, you know, go left or right, because, well, you can't just go straight on something like this. And this actually spun. So this is probably what kept him afloat, kind of like a hoverboard, if you will. Had some guns on it. It was nice and gold, like Cobras are gold. Well, not really, but now let's get into the character himself. I really like this character. As you can see, the hood is a snake's mouth, and he has, this actually hooks in back in the back where the backpacks would go, and it's an extension. I don't know what you would call this, but it's actually, well, the Cobra hood, right, I guess it's the hood, to go along with his, well, Cobra mask. And if you can see on the back here, that's actually scaled, which I really like. Kind of authentic there. Authenticity, authentic. That's the word. And he had a nice little green cape here, kind of a little sparkly going on. I like the gold on green. Actually looks pretty good with the yellow. So basically, he essentially looks like one big snake himself. If you look him from the bottom up, he actually looks like a cobra.
1.
Gung Ho. Gung Ho was a Marine, and his job was to fight, and he did it very well. Gung Ho was actually one of my favorite characters on the show, period. So it's kind of not surprising that he's one of my favorite characters as a toy. Now, there were two versions of Gung Ho. The first one, he had the blue jean jacket, vest, he had the tattoo on the chest, and your regular camouflage hat. This is actually my favorite version of those two, where he is in the military dress blues, the Marine dress blues. I like this character. I've always thought that this uniform in real life was a very sharp uniform, more so than any other military branch out there, and that's not to be rude or anything. It's just the Marines was just my favorite. Their dress was my favorite of the four branches. This character, you can actually see here on the stickers on the chest, he has his ribbons, he has his medals, all that kind of stuff right there. And on the side here is where you would hold the sword. Now, this character, it's very hard to find this character with both those pieces still intact. They break very easily, and yes, he did come with a sword, because if you remember the commercials back in the day, they did that whole cool sword thing and whatnot like that. And the fact that my parents were both Marines, I think maybe that kind of puts this up there number one for me and makes it a little bit more special.
You've not seen the last of Cobra.
G.I. Joe and Cobra the Enemy, each sold separately from Hasbro.
That's my top 10 G.I. Joe toys. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. Put your top 10 down below, or top 5 down below, or just your top anything down below. And as always, if there's a subject you want to hear me do a top 10 on, put it in the comments. If I like it, I'll make a video.